So Blizzard released a patch for Diablo 4 that essentially is trying to kill the game. Instead of adding more content, instead of creating different interactions at the end game, instead of adding, like, I don't know, specific areas for level PvPs, some specific PvEs events, instead of adding maybe stores and classes and guilds, and I don't know, making more depth in the characters and that are NPCs in the environment, they just decided, let's just nerf everything across the board. Let's make leveling even more painful. Let's make grinding even more slow, because people now are complaining that there's no end level content, that they're bored after like level 80. They keep on grinding for the same item, so there's nothing to do. And getting to level 100 is about, I don't know, 160 to 100 hours. And people who got there first start boosting other people's, going with them through the dungeons, while those people wait at the entrances of the dungeons. Right at the entrance, just kind of going through the mobs and boosting their accounts. But yeah, so everyone's who could boosted others, they did. But then when you get to the end game, there's really nothing to do except like grinding and jumping from dungeon to dungeon, from nightmare dungeon to nightmare dungeon. They did introduce Helltide and some boosts to the Helltide with the drops. Now they completely nerfed that. There's still ward bosses, there's still Trio of Whispers, but that's just not enough. So it's like a repetitive cycle of never-ending attempt to achieve level 100 now, because everything is so nerfed across the board. So let's go through some of the updates that Blizzard posted, and then I'll just summarize with some of my ideas here. So I'm not gonna go into the characters. I just want to have you can go and read about your own character, but everyone got nerfed pretty much. Everyone were memeing that, okay, the werewolf is so good now, let's nerf barbarian, right? So that didn't happen. Everyone got nerfed, but most burn got done to the sword. So I even saw a meme today that now the Cirque new item has a random teleportation that it actually teleports you straight to Baldur's Gate. So when Cirque teleports from Diablo 4, you go directly to the new Baldur's Gate game. Alright, so gameplay updates. Altar rules unlocked are now account-wide. Map discovery is account-wide. Those are good, but okay, Whispers will no longer reward Sigil Dust. Okay. Overall loot quality has been significantly improved for silent chests. So now people are going to hunt for silent chests to get good loots, I guess. And now, I don't know why, but the channel time to leave the dungeon ability has been increased from 3 to 5 seconds. Like, why? Like, a couple more seconds of your life to get back to the town. Fine. Okay. Okay, some renowns increased and dungeon renowns increased. This change is retroactive, and the additional renown gain will be applied to characters who have already completed side quests and dungeons. Alright. Okay, so War Tier 2, there was a bonus gold increase to 20% and monster drop 15% more items. Alright, that's fine. Now here where is the interesting part starts. War Tier 3 and World Tier 4 in general areas now have monsters 5 levels less than you, so you can still feel powerful, I guess, with all the nerfs that they did. But if you go to the dungeons and the Helltide, they're actually a bit higher. So here's an example. If you're a tier 3 under level 55, though the monsters will be level 55, but let's say if you're level 60, they're 55, and then if you level 70, I guess they will be like, what, 65. And then same thing for tier 4. So your monster, you're at level 100, they, I guess, will be 95. So they're more squishy now, they're easier to kill in the open world. But that's not for Helltide, and that's not for Nightmare Dungeons. Now here was the experience, bonus experience. So before, you would get any 3+ levels of your mobs would give you 25% more experience, which was a significant boost. Now it doesn't work like that. So after post-season of the Malignant, one level will give you 1.5 up to level 10. So at the maximum level, if the mob's 10 levels higher than you're still going to get less experience when the mobs were just 3 levels higher. So instead of 25, you're going to get 15. Now, tier offsets, so instead of level offsets plus 10, you get plus 6, and tier 4 plus 100, you get plus 10. So that's it. Like, that's the maximum. 10 times less. So prior to season, you get level 100 monster plus 25. Now level 11 monster plus 15. That's it. It doesn't matter your monster is level 100 or not. The max you're going to get out of this is plus 15%. Even if you're like level 1. Now Helltide, monsters are now 3 levels higher than player instead of 2. Now the Tortured Gift of Mystery Chest cost increased to 150 Aberrant Cinders from 175. All interactable objects in Helltide Zone have small chance of dropping Aberrant Cinders. But from what I've seen now, if you do Helltides, you barely get any Cinder drops. Like the drop was reduced so significantly that I used to have like 300 drops for like 45, 50 minutes. Now it's barely like, I don't know, 70, 80. So yeah, so balance updates. So that would be more about each class's changes. Now, there's some reduction of aspects for general items. Um, there's some bonuses, but mostly balance cuts and just reduction in general across the board for everyone. So, for example, like critical strike reduced by 17%. Vulnerable damage reduced by 40%. Critical strike damage inherited on swords reduced by 50. Vulnerable damage inherited on crossbows reduced by 65. Physical damage, okay, some of the damage increased, but generally, like your finishing moves, your crits, your vulnerability damage was decreased. Without going into details like on each class changes, kind of to sum up, Blizzard been saying that they want to introduce changes but slowly, so they don't break the game the way it is. They've been telling that on every panel, like we want to do slow changes. That's the reason why they can't give you like a gem pouch or like more tabs for your inventory space, because they want to do changes slowly, not to break the game. I don't know if that makes sense. And then they just drop that third on you, completely ruining game experience, making everything slow and tedious, even more slow and tedious at the end, where there's no end game content that would be fun. So your only achievement would be like get to level 100 and be happy about it. Well, now it's going to take even longer with really less drop of the good loot. So, I mean, why the grind like that, right? And it's just a lazy practice. They're trying to compensate no content and the end of the game lack of fun was just making game more tedious and grindy and slower, which is kind of stupid because people will get bored regardless. They just stop playing. They're not going to grind to level 100 because it's so long and there's nothing in the end. I would understand if they introduced game like that. So after the beta, once the game started, they should have had all of the nerfs across the board like that. So a player would start a game fresh, understanding the game is pretty long and it's going to take a lot of time to complete, and that would be okay. But because they already had all this progression in place, now people played for quite some time getting used to it, and now they have to restart with season 1 with progression being so much slower. I mean, I really hope they have good content for season 1 story wise, otherwise it's just going to be a disaster. So let's summarize here. So essentially, instead of adding more stuff to the end game, more content, better dynamics, maybe PvPs based on level, maybe some buff between classes, different guilds, maybe more like story depths for the quest, more original quests than just go there and kill that. They decided, well, you can't complain about end game if you never go that far, if you can't really make that far, right? They decided to nerf cinder drops. They nerfed all the classes, and now your grind is really slow for the items. Hell tides were nerfed, even though everyone were very happy about hell tides because there's something to do, right? So there's no more boosting. You can't really grab your friend if you're high level and go through the dungeons with your friend, help them level up. Not longer there. So monsters of high level just there's no more, like, it's completely nerfed. 15% instead of 51 was a 10% higher mob, right? Insane nerf on crit and vulnerable enemies. So that was like one of the best things how you can deal with late game and stacking crits on vulnerable enemies. Now that is really nerfed. So I mean, it's just sad. It's just sad state of the game where developers prefer to just nerf everything so badly because people are complaining there's nothing to do, instead of adding good content, instead of thinking how to improve game and how to attract more people. Now I know Blizzard already made that much money on Diablo 4, so they're probably happy where they're at. They're gonna, they can do whatever pretty much right now because they made a lot of money already, right? But if they want Diablo 4 to be profitable going forward and fun to play, I mean, they have to do something with the content, right? They have to add more stuff for people to do. Otherwise, people are just going to play other games. That's it. They're just going to leave. And okay, you already made some money, but you're not going to make some more going forward. Now, let's see. I saw there was a developer's response on Twitter about that they're reading all their feedback. There will be a panel, developers panel. They will address that and talk about it. But I think unless they will do some good addition to the end game, not just slowing the game, people are just going to stop playing, or most of the people are just going to stop playing. I'm hoping for season 1 content in itself for the story that they added, that it's going to be great and interesting. I will start and do that and see how it goes. But generally, I don't want to grind for 4 months on a season 1 just to get to level, like, whatever, 50, 60, and then there's nothing to do after I finish the story, because nothing in the end going to be the same. After level 60 plus, 65 plus, when you've done all the story, the things that you can do: Tree of Whispers, Nightmare Dungeons, and Hell Tides, and World Bosses. That's it. There's nothing else to do. There's really nothing else. So, yep. So let's hope for the better change. Maybe the feedback will help somewhat to avoid this mess. But if it's set and if they already set everything in motion, patches there, I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Maybe it's gonna get a lot more worse for the next couple seasons until they nerf everything completely to the ground, and then start boosting things little by little after that. All right. So this was Alex KGB. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.